Hello friends, Coach Bob with you today, and today we are going to be having a great conversation about technology, how it is a killer, and I'm telling you, it will kill you, and I'm not just joking with you on that. So we're going to talk about technology on motorcycles. You know, it has some major pluses to it, there's no doubt about it, but it also has some major downfalls, and how we need to be careful when we're using this kind of stuff. All right, well, before we get going, if you would, give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel. Most of the folks that watch are bootlegging, they're bootleggers. They're not subscribed to the channel. Be sure and subscribe to the channel. We are trying to grow like everybody else. All right, so before we get going, I've gotten probably 100 emails over the last 2 weeks. Where have you been? What's going on? Are you okay? Now, if you could see in this old helmet, I look pretty haggard. I am going to tell you, I looked in the mirror earlier today and told Coach Vic I looked like a bum. I look really bad, y'all, just being honest with you. We've been going through some things with the health of my oldest daughter. If you would, please pray for her. Her name is Allie. We lovingly know her as Baba. Yes, Allie Baba. But anyway, pray for Baba if you would. She is, she's struggling. We don't know what's wrong with her. We're having some very serious words dropped on us, you know, and the C word is one of them. We're really concerned. It's been a very, very tough month with her, and you know, if you remember back in August, she was in the hospital, thought she was having a heart attack. It was chest pains due to a congenital lung disorder that she has. Now they're concerned that this lung disorder might have transformed into something a little more deadly, and we are praying for her, and have about 10 different things we're waiting on right now. So needless to say, it's been quite stressful. It has been one of those things where I've had no time to do anything but take care of her, and I'm not bitter about that. It's just purely an observation, so I'm not going to go into any real detail on that, but I will keep you advised and apprised of the situation. Just pray for my daughter if you would. Thank you. All right, so let's talk technology. Man, technology is awesome. Now, right now, I'm that far. You can see how far I am from the stop sign. My blinker is on. I did not look down to do my blinker, but if I look down to do my blinker, you could see it would be very easy for me to roll out into that intersection. I know what you're saying. Well, Coach, you consider a blinker technology? Well, it can be. It can certainly be a distraction. Anything that pulls your eyes off of the road is a distraction. You know, it used to be when I was a young man, everything was drunk driving, driving under the influence, that sort of thing. Nowadays, it's don't drive distracted driving, driving while on the phone, that sort of thing. Is more, you see more accidents now due to telephones than you do alcohol. Now, of course, when I was young, there were no phones, so it was all alcohol related stuff, and that's just how it was. But nowadays, man, it's all about the phone. That's a buddy of mine's car. I'll turn around and see what's going on with that. Here recently, we were riding, me and this buddy of mine were riding on a Triumph Tigers, and he was working with the cruise control. Now, the cruise control on every motorcycle is different. Now, if I were to do the cruise control on this machine, I don't have to look down. I'm just going to press it, and it should be set. It is set. I didn't have to look down. I know where it is. Muscle memory tells me where it is. The same holds true on the Tiger now. However, when I first got on the Tiger, I didn't know where it was, because I would reach over here with this hand in that physical location, and it wasn't there. And then I had to find it. It was over here in the back to turn it on, and then over here to get it set. So it's a whole different setup. Well, what he was doing is he was trying to set it. I told him, I said, what we're going to do, we're going to get on this stretch of road. I'm going to set my cruise at 65 miles an hour. And he's like, I'm going to get in a position, and then I'm going to set mine at 65, and we'll track them and see, you know, how, you know, they are together, whether we're showing the same speed, whether he's gaining on me, losing on me, that sort of thing, so that when we ride together, we have a general idea. Well, as he was looking down as he was looking down, messing with his cruise control. Now, he didn't speed up. He did what most people do. He slowed down. And in that slow down process, he started to weave over a little bit into the other lane. Now, that other lane, we were on a divided highway that wasn't very busy at all. And what happened, though, is he found himself drifting into that left lane, and then he eased back over into his lane, and like 3 seconds later, a car came whizzing by him, probably at 80 miles an hour. He never saw the car. And he told me, because we had helmet communicators, he goes, "Bob, I never saw that car. That scared the heck out of me. I was looking down. I was heads down. I have to be more careful. I'm going to get myself killed messing around with the cruise control." You know, when I first got the Spyder, you know, I didn't know where the buttons were to turn on the brights and the dims and the windshield and all that stuff. You know, you're kind of reaching around with your thumb over here. I'll glance down here, I'm looking ahead, but over here, this cluster, you've got your mode, you got your parking brake, you got your little switch gear here, you got your lights, and you got your windshield and your blinkers, and your horn right there. So I know where everything is on this thing, and that's just how it is. I mean, my muscle memory, it's not 100%. Now, I may have to reach around, but like that, for example, I know that that's the windshield. I know that is the brights and the dim. I know that's my switch gear. I know that's my mode button, my parking brake. That's my blinker here that I'm about to hit to the left. So that muscle memory is what keeps my head up. It keeps my head up looking, and it also allows me to look in the rear view mirror. So it helps me maintain everything by just simply being aware of it and my head being in the game. You know, years ago when I was teaching Baba to drive, we were in her car and we were driving along, and the car had a navigation system, and she was like, "Where do we turn?" And I was about to tell her, and she looked down. She literally looked down at the map. And I yelled, "Stop!" And she slammed on brakes, and the car had stopped in front of us for no reason. Maybe a cat or a dog or something had run out in front of him. He slammed on brakes. She slammed on brakes, thank goodness. And I'm going to tell you that when we stopped, we weren't a foot from that car. And I told her, I said, "Everything that will kill you is out there. It's not here, it's out there. That's where you have to be looking. You have to be paying attention to that." Now, I know a lot of you are going, "Well, Coach, I never would I look down." I'm going to tell you, I have, and the greatest distraction on this motorcycle right here is this right here, this beautiful color, high definition Garmin GPS Zumo XT. That is the biggest distraction on this motorcycle. And the reason I say that is because I have to have my head engaged in navigation as well as driving the motorcycle. I have to know where I'm going. And just like Baba, if she looked down for 2 or 3 seconds, that car hit the brakes. I have to be aware when I'm looking at that navigation that I have to, what I'm prone to do is tilt my head like this, and my left eye will be glancing down at it, and it's not really reading it, but it can determine where we're going, where the next turn is. But even with that, and I'm aware of it, it still is taking my full undivided attention off of this road, and distractions are getting bigger and bigger and bigger in life. And so we have to be very, very careful as we're in cars and motorcycles and anything that you have all of these electronics, because they will get you killed. They're nice to have. They're wonderful to have. You know, it's kind of hard to imagine a car now without a GPS, right? I mean, you just expect to get in a car and there'll be a GPS in there, or a motorcycle. You know, we don't have maps anymore. You know, it's just not how it works. But let's talk the other side of technology as well that is well intended. ABS, for example, this machine has ABS. So if I go to get on the brakes real heavy, I'm not going to skid. Well, that's a wonderful thing, but you also have to realize is that if you count on stuff too much, Well, it will protect me. It will stop me. I don't have to brake as early because the technology is there. You're going to put yourself in harm's way by worrying too much or assuming too much. You're going to put yourself in harm's way by assuming that the technology is going to save your bacon, because it very well may not. So don't just rely on the ABS giving you that last second advantage. It's there if you need it. It's a safety net, but it is certainly not your primary mode of safety. You are the number one mode of safety on any machine. You're the one that's looking out there, and you are the one that has to be prepared to stop, prepared to go, prepared to make an evasive maneuver. Now, we're all going to miss something. We're all going to miss something, and our hope is that the redundancy, and I'm going to tell you the redundancy is the other driver. The other driver is your redundancy. When you screw up, you hope they catch it. And when they catch it, you hope they don't hit you. Even though you did something wrong and you probably deserve to be hit, you hope they catch it. And when that person flips you off or yells at you, give them a peace sign, wave, and say, I'm sorry. You know what? There's no shame in making a mistake while you're driving. I see it every day. You know, people drive angry, and I get that. But there are a lot of angry people out there. Don't be one of those guys. Understand that everyone is going through something. You know, years ago, I was coming out of the hospital, and I had my children in the van. I don't know what I had done, but I didn't have them strapped in properly. I had seats in the van or whatever, but I'd done it incorrectly. So I had a police officer stop me and go, hey, you know, you've done this and you've done that. And I said, I'm sorry. And he was getting ready to write me a ticket. And I understood, you know, hey, well, I'd made a mistake. My head was not in the game. I'm just going to be honest with you. And he goes, where are you coming from? I said, well, you saw me. I just pulled out of Tallahassee Memorial Hospital. And he goes, what's going on? And I said, well, I probably just, I was inattentive, man. Check that out. That limb was hanging low. That could tear you off a motorcycle and kill you. There again, awareness, you got to be looking out there. A tree limb hanging down, huh? And it was a thick 3-inch tree limb. But I told him, I said, my wife's dying, and, you know, I'm struggling, and I'm doing the best I can. Give those guys a chance to get out of the way. And I'm struggling just to keep my head in the game. I'm really sorry. I understand. What I did was wrong, and write me a ticket. You know, and I wasn't argumentative or angry. I was very, very apologetic because I'd made a mistake. And he basically looked at me and said, sir, here's your license. You be safe. You have a safe day. God bless you and your children. You know, a broken and contrite spirit, you know, to be that person that when you mess up, you can say you messed up. You can do that. You can do that. And, you know, when someone else makes a mistake, you can offer them a little grace too. You know, you can offer them some kindness and some grace. You can wave them in. You don't have to cut them off, you know. So understand that all of this all works together. The technology, the attitude, because a lot of it is the attitude of how we look at our machine. And we go, this machine is my salvation. It is the one thing that is going to keep me from getting killed. It can help you. It can have lean sensitivity like my Triumph Tiger does. It can have ABS like this does. It can have cruise control. It can have ABS. It can have all different kinds of modes of power and acceleration and all of these things. But there is the one tool on this motorcycle that will keep you alive, and that is this one. This is the tool that's going to keep you alive. It's the driver, the rider, you know, the one riding the motorcycle. That's the one, the driver in the car, the rider on the bike. That is the one that's going to keep you from getting killed. So yes, technology, man, it'll get you killed literally if you let it. You got to use it for what it was intended to, but don't let it be a distraction. because man, distractions will get you seriously dead, and that's just the way it is. All right, well, I know you got a little something out of that, because we can all use a little refresher every now and again. So do me a favor until next time. Yes, you go out, buy the motorcycle of your dreams, eat right, take care of yourself, build them big old muscles. And remember, if you're not having fun, you are doing it wrong. Now I'll see you on the road real soon. You go seize the day.